Okay, there we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Influence of Network, better known as I.O.N. Because as its title suggests, this show is about networking. Because in this life, your influence and your network, they go hand in hand. And those two are the keys to your success. With this show, I want to provide people with the opportunity to have those keys to open doors and network, connect, and build further in life. So we're going to sit back, relax, and listen to our guest. And let's keep an open mind. So today I have the CEO, the man who has no limit when it comes to the grind, a former soccer player, and a man who's in that field right now doing big things. And when we say networking, it's going to name drop Ronaldinho there, but doing big things. One, Mr. Diego, get it right, get it right, get it right. Hurtado.
Hurtado. Yeah, that's fine.
Hurtado.
That's fine.
Uh,
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, no worries.
how are you doing today, man?
Nah, man, I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you for the invite. It's I know it's gonna be a good conversation, so I appreciate being here today.
I appreciate the opportunity. Before we start, I want to give a shout out to your man in communications, Mr. Chris
Chris,
Kaufman.
Chris, Chris Kaufman, man.
Oh
He's the
man,
man. He's the man. He's out there looking
yes.
for everybody.
It's people like him that makes a company that's flourish. Because I'm like, he was in constant communication, made sure we stayed in communication. I was like, that is perfect, man. That's team building right there.
Yeah, man. Chris has been with me since the very beginning. We even started when I was a player. He offered his services, and he never asked for money. He never asked for anything. He only wanted to be part of something new, and that it was a sign that I needed to have him there. And through the years, man, I've been with him for almost 4 or 5 years, and he just shows. He always level up. Like he always level up. He always there showing up. So he's a great and a very important person for us right now.
Gotcha. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to start off by asking a couple questions, but the most important one is to go into the background here. So let's start off by touching on your past. Tell me and the audience a little bit about yourself.
A little bit about myself. Okay, so I was born in Colombia, Bogota, the capital. I was there until I was 15, 16 years old.
Mhm.
I grew up there. I was born and raised. Um, I was born in a tough place, in a tough environment. And Bogota is divided in two, right? The north
Okay.
and the south. The north is pretty, it's beautiful. Every rich person goes over there. The south is a little more tougher, right? It's where the humble people live, where you get this very, very uh the the movie characters are from this type of things. So I grew up
Gotcha.
in that side, not knowing it was bad, right? When I was a kid, I thought it was the worst. I thought everything was the same. But I grew up in that environment. Thank God for soccer. I never went in none of that the bad stuff. I always was looking for sports, for soccer. I think for me, soccer saved me from the crime, from the drugs, from all the things that it was around me. I think soccer was the one who take me away from that, and that's why I'm in here. Because I'm very grateful to the sport. I grew up there, 15, 16 years old. Then I moved to United States, to Miami, with my mom. She decided to move to the United States, looking for new opportunities. I was already playing pro in Colombia. I didn't sign, but I was, training with the pros. So I was kind of like undecisive if I wanted to make the move. But the opportunity came, and then I had to decide. Okay, do we want to stay here by myself? With my dad, which I'm very close to, but I always live with my mom. So I had
Okay.
to decide, should I go with my mom or be with my dad? Because they were divorced. They were never together. So I was living with my mom. So I was like, I don't want to leave my mom. So I decided to come here with her, thinking that soccer was gonna be so easy here, and it was gonna be just, I was gonna come in and sign a contract right away and all that stuff. But it wasn't the case. It had to be very hard for me to, get a contract, do this stuff, and even stay in the business of, as a soccer player. but yeah, man, that's basically where I come from. It's kind of like a little bit,
Mhm.
mention the way I came to the United States, to Miami, the soccer system and all that kind of stuff. So it was a great experience.
Okay. I want to go back to touch on. You said you was playing professional at 15.
Yeah, it was called Primera C, which is more like a third division, not third division, but like the pros, first division. They
Yeah.
always have like B teams, right? So I was
Hmm.
already in them, training with them, always going, back and forth with the first team. But I was 15, so I was, I was always kind of the best on my team,
Okay.
and they always put me, as a 15-year-old. They wanna in South America, it's like when you're 14, 15, if they see you that you can make it a pro, they start putting you in that level, right? Because you
Hmm.
gotta demonstrate that you can stay there and that you're gonna become a pro at the like at 14, 15 years old. It's very different from here, So at that age, is you gotta be very mature. You gotta be very, into the game. You gotta have passion for the game, discipline for the game. You had to act like a pro. So to me, it wasn't to me, the neighborhood taught me that, right? That being strong, being, like harmless, like not being scared of anybody or anything, right? To me, that translates to the field, because when you play against, 20, 30 years old, and in South America, they going at you. They don't see you as a 15-year-old. They see as like, this kid is gonna take my spot, so I'm not gonna let them do that. So they will do anything for you to crack, anything for you to just, not come back anymore. So it was a tough. It was when I was in practice. That I used to have like long hair. So I
Hmm.
used to pull my hair. They used to, like slap you, like all these kind of stuff, man. It's so you got to see as a friendly environment. Get me?
Hmm.
But everybody's used to it in Colombia, in South America, Brazil, Argentina. They're all the same. So you don't see it as like violence or like, oh, bullying, as everybody call it. You just
Hmm.
see it as a normal way of a style of living. As every 15-year-old goes through that. Every to make it a pro, they kind of go through that. Is I think is a code for the soccer players in South America that makes you, like, oh, you want to be here. This is what it takes to be here. So I'm glad that I lived that. I enjoy it. It was some, obviously sad moments and maybe doubts about yourself, but I think it was cool to live it. When I came to the United States at 15 years old, and I was already playing with these guys, and I came here to play high school. Man, I was run them and over. Like I was boom, 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 flying. Like they couldn't even believe that I was playing there. So that was, everybody was like, I was scoring goals. I was winning games for the team. My team was pretty bad, and I was
Hmm.
winning games for them. I was like the star of the high school, and I'm not really focusing that much, but I didn't feel like it. I always just wanted to play all the time and show that I was one of the best. So that's what I did, and then I moved to another school, and it was different because the level was a little bit better, but still it wasn't the level that I was used to, right? So it was very different.
I can imagine. I'm like to go from playing with those grown men to just come back playing with people at your age, but then that gap in talent is just like, okay, I'm clearly just walking you guys over the field. Am I your coach?
Yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, it was very different. It was very it was like I was going back in time, right? Like, oh, I'm playing with kids again. Like some of them don't even know how to shoot a ball. I was like, wow, like what am I doing here, right? Started those doubts, like what is this? Like I didn't think this was, this type of level. But it was because I got to a very bad school in soccer. Like my
Okay.
high school was really bad in soccer. Then I moved to a better high school, which was like the top school in soccer in Miami,
Hmm.
and it was different. Now people could play. Now people could, like make, and it was good coaches and this and that, and they took me to an academy, and now the level would start raising up. So, but I still saw it as like, okay, this is nothing crazy, but it was way better than the one that I got here in Miami first, because the first high school was very bad.
Got you.
So, but it was cool. But it was, a good experience.
And see, that's what went through my head too. Because like once you say you went to another school, that it was better. So going up, I'm in my head. I'm thinking like these kids going to academies. The parents got the money, putting them in on the weekends after school. They not the season ends. They're probably over here doing baseball. They're back and forth. So it's like these kids are probably bouncing back and forth, and they don't have that full focus like you did when you was coming up.
Yeah, I think that you just mentioned, when I got to the academy, it was kind of like I talked to some players that didn't even like soccer. And I was like, what are you doing here? Like, oh no, because my mom tells me that I had to be here. So I knew, I never understood that, and the guys were pretty good, but I never understood that. Well, now then when I did in the academy in Colombia, you have to pay, but
Mhm.
if you're good enough, they give you scholarships, or they help you out. When I got to Miami Academy, I was one of the best ones. I'll say in my age, um, it was a good player. So I don't want to say I was the best one, but I was one of the top ones. The first 2 weeks that I arrived to the club, but then and they offered me right away. Oh, you should go to the academy, the developmental level, which was the best team in the academy. You should go there. That's where you got to be. You had the level to play there. And everybody saw me. I was like, wow, this guy's already gonna be over there in the academy. He's just been here for 2 weeks, and I'm like, I didn't even understand what was happening. So I was like, yeah, whatever the best team is, put me out there. But then the academy was very expensive. Then they're like, okay,
Mhm.
sign here. Now you had to pay, I don't remember at that time, $300 a month. I don't know what it was. And I'm like, wait, time out. I have to pay this? Is there any way that I can get a scholarship or anything like that? And they started saying, oh, yeah, but it's going to be hard, blah, blah, blah. They never gave me a solution for me to play. So what he ended up was that I asked my mom, and she had no head for that. I mean, she was working. She was trying to, we had to pay the papers that we came with, the lawyers, all that stuff, the green card.
Mhm.
So she was making money for that. And I was playing soccer, right? So she's like, I need you to help me. I need you to work. And I used to work in a car wash. So when I got to Miami, it's like, okay, I had soccer, I had car wash, I had high school. Then I had to find another job in car wash. It was in the weekends. Then I had to work in a movie theater at night. So I used to go to high school, train in the afternoon, and work in the movie theater. And it was like that the whole time. So my level started went down because I started getting injured. I was very tired. I wasn't eating right. So like my level was coming down, and you could tell because coaches will tell you, "Oh, you're not the same when you came. Oh, you're not this, you're not that." And it was like in my mind, it sucks. Like, yeah, I'm not the same, and you think it's your fault because you think it's your level, and you
Mhm.
don't think it's because, well, you have to work, you have to go to high school, you have to train, then you have to keep doing that every weekend, and then you have to pay your own academy at 16 years old, 17 years old, because your parents couldn't pay it. That pressure was on me, but I never thought about it, right? Like I was just doing it. I was like, okay, I'll do it. I had to do it. I'll do it because I used to work in Colombia too. I was like, I'll do it. I'll do it. So, but you now as an adult, you realize, wow, how did I go through that and not break or not, didn't really collapse, I guess, but my body started saying, hey, it's too much. I started getting injured. I couldn't
Mhm.
play the same level. I wouldn't run the same. I never had somebody that tell me, yo, you gotta eat right, you gotta drink water. Miami is a very hot city, is the humidity is bad. And if you don't drink water, you don't do these things, it's like you won't make it. Your muscles will just not respond. And I come from a cold city. Bogota is very cold, and we don't really drink water there because it's a high altitude city. So you never
Okay.
get thirsty. I don't know. You don't really get used to drinking water in that city. Even when I go nowadays, it's like I don't drink as much as water as I do here. And then as a kid, you need water. And I remember now that I don't used to drink any water. And I would say like, nah, I don't like water, kind of that stuff. So that's the ignorance that you have as a kid because you don't have anybody telling you, hey, you got to do the right thing. You got to do this. Hey, don't worry about money. I'll pay you for this. I think
Mm-hmm.
if I had that support, I wouldn't be a total different player. And I mean, I don't want to say I'll be in the MLS or anywhere else, but I think that could be a chance, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it doesn't matter, man. It happened, and it taught me a lot. But it was that moment. I'll say more mentally, it was pretty hard because you came with this high level where everybody was like, "Wow, this guy is so amazing. This guy is so good." And then you start dropping levels because your body just don't can't handle it anymore. So much stuff that you have to do. So that's what kind of happened to me. But I always maintain kind of like a good level to be on the teams, to stay there, to go to the showcase, and also my money level was also there, because I was owing money to the club at a certain point. I never gonna forget one day that it was the middle of the training, and I was with the ball, and one of the girls that were with the club came into the middle of the training, and she's like, Diego Hurtado and Juan Zapata, it's one of my friends. You guys can train today. You owe too much money to the club in front of everybody. And I'm like,
Oh,
wow, like they give in front of everybody, man. Like now that I think about it, how do you do that? Like, how can you tell a 17-year-old guy or 16, whatever, in front of everybody, that kind of stuff? Why don't you just pull them aside? Hey, what's going on with you? You owe money, blah, blah, blah. And they don't let us
exactly.
train. They don't let us do anything. So I was very pissed that day. I was like, what, I'm gonna leave this club, but I always try to maintain there because it was a good club.
Gotcha. So once the high school was done, I saw you played in college, and then after that, you went on a tear there with a good amount of clubs. I have to
Yeah.
say,
So
when I saw the college photo you're on the team photo, I said, my man, like he was a player back in the day. Like the girls would just coming from, he'd be like, "Nah, ladies, I got focus on the game, got focus." I was like, "Yo, it's like he about to take a photo shoot and everything in this photo right here, man."
yeah, man. No, when I finished high school and I was with the academy, I got a great chance to try to go D1. I talked to some coaches. They couldn't, because my level wasn't at the peak.
Mhm.
So, but I had some offers, and they try to help me to get in the D1 level. But then I had to pass the SAT. They, all these
Oh
tests,
yeah,
and I didn't
yeah.
and I didn't speak English at the time. So I try to do it, man. I took the SAT 7 times, man. Sean, when I'm telling you 7 times, it is 7 times. The two first 2 times is free. From that you had to pay to take it. So I paid 5 times to take it because I wanted to go to the schools, but I never passed it, man. I never passed it. And the coach was like, "Listen, when the recruiting process, you taking too long because this is like 2 months, right? You're
Mhm.
taking too long. I'm sorry, we cannot offer you anything else." So then I got into a call with one of the high school coaches that always helped me, and he got into with another coach in an NAI program. It was like lower level
Yeah.
college, but they got me there, and I had to pass the ACT with a percentage, and I just got that percentage. So he called me that, man, I want you here, and he's going to college. It was in Georgia, Thomasville, Georgia,
Mhm.
and I played them, and I wanted to stay there for only 2 years and then leave to a bigger school. But to be honest, I felt really good there. People were treating me really good, especially the coach. The soccer was really good. But the same, I got at the beginning top level, and then I needed to eat, I needed to do things, so I had to start working again.
The
So I
college
used to go
life.
to classes, you know, classes, training, work again, and then it just kind of like my body, man. Like my body was always trying to push it to the limits. I think I pushed my body to the limits a lot,
Mhm.
and my level in college was kind of like, the first year was really good, the second year was like this, the third year was good, then you kind of just start, I couldn't be maintain that top level always, but I progressed, and from that college I started looking for opportunities. Never, it wasn't like somebody saw me and I come play for this club. Nah, it was me email everybody, going and tryouts, going here, going there, paying my own flights, paying the tryout because you had to pay for the tryouts, calling people, seeking opportunities. I used to do everything for soccer, man. Everything. I gave every single sweat for soccer. And then finally some doors started opening, I wouldn't call it even doors. I would say like windows. It will open and I just, jump in there. And I started moving to some clubs. I played for Miami United, which back in the day was a well-structured professional club. They used to pay players. They brought some really big ballers. They have a really good project. Roberto Saka, he's still with the club, and I think he always had that vision for the club. And it was a really well-structured club. We play a really high level. We play friendlies with top teams from Brazil. Miami Day, it was another team. Then I moved to Tulsa, Milwaukee, Las Vegas. Uh, I was in Las Vegas for a little bit. Then Milwaukee, I was almost a year in Milwaukee. It was a pretty nice city. I liked it a lot. And New York, I played with the Cosmos in New York. Then moved back and forward. Then went back again, and now I'm here in New York. So I was moving, man. Anywhere the ball will call me, I will move. So it was a chase.
Well traveled, well traveled.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Okay, so what led to the transition from being a player to going into the apparel industry of soccer, of all things? Because I feel like if somebody's gonna stay in the industry, they're gonna be like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna get my badges. I'm gonna become a coach. I'm gonna become, like I'm gonna be the trainer here. You went into the clothing line. What inspired that?
Well, I did try coaching, to be honest. I'm gonna be honest with you. I
Okay.
coached for a little bit. I had some licenses. I took the licenses. And I think I was good. I think I was a great coach with kids. But I think I had an issue as a coach, and it was that I'm very competitive. I'm like, man, if you don't give me your 100%, I don't want you. Don't even look at me. So I was like that with 10 years old, with 11 years old kids and all that. And I was putting this pressure, this kid, like, you better play or you're not here, like, but it's just me, it's who I am and how I was built when I was a kid. When I was a kid,
Mhm.
they would do the same thing to me. They're like, you better play or you're not here, So I was kind of doing the same to these kids. And in Miami, I had a team that was really good. And these kids would play like that. They wouldn't care. I think they would even get inspired by me. So I love it. I love it there. And I was like, then, I could give a try to coaching because I really like it. And I was projecting myself. Maybe I could be in the pros, and because I had connections. So I was like, maybe I do my licensing and I go be a pro coach, whatever, right?
Mhm.
But then I started coaching more and more, and I was like, nah, I don't know. I don't think this is for me. I don't really. It wasn't my passion. If I'm not 100%, I don't really like to do it.
Gotcha.
The thing was that I was always a business guy. I was always a sales guy. My whole life since I'm like 10 years old, I'm selling candy. I'm selling here in school, and I'm trying to, like, I was working in a car wash, like I was working in a movie theater. Like I was always in the lookout for new things to do to start getting money because where I'm from, my mom never could give me for lunch, right? So
Okay.
I used to see my friends eating, with money and buy lunch, and I'm there like I had nothing, right? So I'm like, nah, I need it. I never see myself like a victim. I was like, you know what? Oh, you guys are gonna eat lunch? Let me go get some money, and I'm gonna buy a better lunch than you guys, So I was always like that. I was always, thinking how to hustle, how to do things better, right? Like can I get my own money so I don't have to bother my mom, my dad, that they have so much pressure. I had three sisters, and they have to be there. So I was like, let me try to help them. I always saw myself as, let me help my mom, right? Like, how can I help my mom? So I never asked her. For me, not asking her for anything is the help, right? So if I don't ask her for anything, I'm helping her. So I was
Mhm.
like, you know what? I'm gonna try to always make my own money. So I always try different things. Even in Miami, I used to do, like I say, business with car wash. Uh, then in the car wash, the dealer guys were like, "Oh, can I sell the car and can I get $200?" you know, like it was like I just bring you the client and you close that stuff because obviously I didn't have, you know, I wasn't older enough. I was trying to make deals everywhere. So this opportunity came where I was playing a soccer game and a guy came with a uniform and he's like, oh look, I make this. He's like, you from Bogota? And I'm like, yeah, I'm from Bogota. He's like, look, I make these uniforms in Bogota. They're very good. They're very nice. We're gonna play with them today. And I actually wear them, and they're pretty nice. I was like, oh, this is cool, man. You know, and it stood to my mind, Bogota, but and the whole thing is that my family used to be in the clothing business. They still are, you know.
Okay.
I was like, oh, my mom used to make something like this because back in the day, I used to sell jerseys like compression jerseys, and my mom used to buy the fabric and she would make them. She had like a little factory, like 4 3 machines, and she used to make them, and I used to sell them to go on trips with the teams and all that, you know. So I was like, okay, you know, mom, and she used to make my own clothing. I used to draw and everything, right? So I had that in the past, but I never really dive into it until he gave me the jersey and I wore it. Like all those thoughts came back. I used to make money selling jerseys. I used to do this when I was a kid. I used to, you know, so I was like, maybe let me ask this guy. So the next week he was like, man, I'm so mad. This guy from Bogota, he never responds again. I don't know where I'm gonna make the uniforms anymore. And I'm like, you know what? I'll make him for you. And he's like, oh, for real? I was like, yeah, I have the people, I have everything. I work with a factory. Don't worry, man. I had nothing. I didn't know anybody. I didn't, I didn't know anybody. I was like, and he's like, how much you charge me for the uniforms? And I'm like, I didn't know. So I was like, how much you get charged? And he's like, $70. And I'm like, okay, I'll do it for 65. 60. Done. I was like, okay, yeah, I got $60 per uniform. Let's see what happens. So I go to Colombia, whatever. I call my aunt. Aunt, I know you're in the business. You're doing some stuff. Can we make these uniforms? We hang out. She's like, I'll make it happen. She started making the uniform. She did it. She find sublimation. And that time I didn't know anything about it. You know, boom, 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 boom. Then somebody was coming from Colombia. I was like, yo, can you bring the uniforms? They brought the uniforms. Man, the uniforms were even better than the ones we had. So everybody started loving it, like, yo, these uniforms are crazy, blah, blah, blah. And the uniform cost me like $20 to make in that time, right?
Mhm.
So I was like, no, this is a good profit in here, you know, like it was like 30, 40 uniforms. And I had $0 in my bank. So I was like, this is the business I need to be in, you know. This is the one. So I called different teams. Yo, I'm selling uniforms. I have a brand. The guy had a brand. So he's like, you want to start working with me? So I start selling uniforms for his brand. And I
Okay.
start calling all my friends in Miami and Florida. Man, I started selling like crazy. Everybody started buying from me. Boom, buy, 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 buy. But the guy, he had another job. He had all this. I had all the time, you know. So he had another job. It wasn't his fault.
Mhm.
So I was like, you know what? I gotta leave his brand and I'm gonna create my own. So I started getting in contact, you know, learning how the brand works, like trademarks, all that. You know, I called a lawyer, this, that, you know, everything lined up for me. And I started learning, you know, design because I had to design in the computer. I never knew what Photoshop, Illustrator was. Photoshop and Illustrator is very known these days, but 5 years back in the day, not everybody knew about that, you know?
Yep.
So I was like, yo, I don't know what is this. You have to pay for the service, blah, blah, blah. Man, I started doing. And my mom, she's been a blessing, man. She gave me $4,000 her savings. And she's like, do you believe this could work? And I'm like, listen, I don't know, but it could make us some money maybe. So let's give it a try. And she always believed in me. So she's like, here's $4,000. That's all I have. Go to Colombia, buy some machines, bring some uniforms, and we'll see what happens. And that's what I did, man. I with those $4,000, that was our first investment, and now is we make a quite money with from those $4,000. Yeah, it was
Man,
crazy.
all praise to your mom, man. That
I know, man.
dang.
I I think I always joke with her, you know, because she couldn't be there for the games. She couldn't be there for my soccer career. She never had the time, you know. And now that I'm an adult, you know, I'm a father now. I understand that, you know, the pressure that you had to go through, especially if you come where we come from, you know. So I never blame her. I don't. I would never say my mom. was never there for me because she couldn't go to the games, she couldn't, be there like present, but she was always supporting me. If not, she would have taken me out. She would have said, hey, don't even play, come here. So I know in her head, in her heart, she somehow she was supporting me. So I always had that in my mind. And I think when the opportunity came that she has her say now, have in mind, it's her savings, it's her money. It's something that she was saving for a year, I guess. So for her to be like, listen, I trust you, here's the money. I could have get that money and go party in Miami, to be honest. Miami is a crazy city to party. So the trust that she had in me in that moment, I started realizing she just don't trust me now, or she just don't believe in me now. She has been believing in me for the past years. It's just that she couldn't never really show it to me. And I joke with her now because nowadays I have a little brother. He's now 14, and he plays soccer, but he's not really that good. He does it for the sport, for so he can be active. But now she has to go to every game with him. She has to take him. So I'm like, you see, that happens because you never took me to the game. So now you have to take him everywhere to all the tournaments, be there, soccer, soccer, soccer. And she's like, oh my god. But now she's been my number one supporter, and that's why I always, I'm always there for her. Nothing of this could happen without her. So I'm always praised to her.
Okay, okay. Now you said you were selling the uniforms and working with the guy, working for his brand. So what led
Mm-hmm.
to your brand, Diaza? Like, where did the name come
So
from?
he has a brand called Victory, something like that. So he told me that Nike. I didn't even know. He told me that Nike was a Greek word for God. The God of victory.
Mhm.
So the God of victory was called Nike or Nike in Greek, in Greece. So I'm like, okay, it's pretty cool. So I started looking for my own brand, my own stuff, and I had this guy, this, I call him my guru, my mentor, he's a really nice guy. He's always looking out for me, and this is crazy story. I don't really tell this story much, but one day he was there. We were just talking. He's like, listen, I was doing the brand thing, and I was thinking the brand thing, but I never mentioned it to anybody. And he's like, Diego, you gonna you're gonna have a business, and it's gonna be something like branding, something like that. So make sure you, whenever you make the logo, you put two wings on the logo, or something that symbolize the two wings, because you're gonna fly very high and you're gonna be very successful. He told me that without even the brand. That to me nowadays is so crazy, and I'm like, wow, like how do you even know? So then I came back the next week, like, listen, I'm thinking about doing this, doing that. I don't know how to call it, but I want to make the logo with two wings. So if you see the logo, those
Mhm.
two wings, it reflects two wings. So, and it used to be called. This is an old jersey. It used to be called Jinga,
Okay.
because I call it Jinga first because Jinga. I used to play with a lot of Brazilians, and the Brazilians have this word Jinga, which is like jogo bonito, with style, with how the Brazilians play, very different,
Yeah.
very like with the movements and everything. They used to call that Jinga, and I always like that word Jinga, Jinga. Yo, I want to play Jinga, and they will say Jinga, Jinga. So I was like with this guy, and he's like, "Why don't you name your brand Jinga?" And I'm like, I'm gonna do it." Then I named it Jinga. I made the logo, and then I didn't make the logo. Somebody make it for me, but I told him the idea. So it was like a G with the two wings, and then I trademarked it, and it came back, and there was so many Jingas out there. There was like Brazilian Jinga, this, there. So the lawyer was like, "Listen, we had to change. It's a business decision. You had to change the brand." But I was already making uniforms with Jinga. I mean, look, we had a deal with the national team from Colombia with
Mhm.
like indoor with Jinga. And I was already making this stuff, and he's like, "No, you got to change." I'm like, "No, man, I don't want to change the logo. I don't want to." So it's like, so I thought about it, and then I flipped the logo and I make it a D. And I was thinking something about Diego, all that stuff. And then I started thinking about, okay, the Greek, the victory, the Greeks in this world, that I'm like, but I don't want to do that. I want to do my own. I'm Colombian. I'm not Brazilian. What am I doing? So I started looking in the dictionary for ancestor words for Colombians, and there was this word, Diaza, and then the word says, and the old tribes that you have to, like, in order for you to be successful in everything, you have to have Diaza. Whoever was a leader or wanted to be a leader need to have Diaza. And Diaza mean like hard work, persistence, motivation, like doing the hard things first, like all these combinations. And to me, that was just my life. That was me, right? That was hard work, perseverance, going at it. And then you try to do soccer, and it's the same. There's a perfect word for soccer. It's in soccer or any other sport, you need that. You need to be consistent, to be disciplined, to have to be hardworking, or all that kind of stuff. To have Diaz, you need to have Diaz to be better in any sport and even in life. So we built the Diaza name, and it was a sign, man. It was a sign, and now we had this Diaza mentality move that everybody likes, and everybody just keep embracing.
That is wonderful right there. That was a wonderful pivot. Like that was such a good thing to happen right there. Oh man.
Man, yeah.
So seeing that you said they need to have this, people need to have Diaza about them. How do you maintain having that in a work environment? Like having a positive work environment within your company. How do you do that?
I think one of the hardest things when you build a company is when you started gathering more people, right? Like employees, and I don't even call them employees. I think they always tell them they don't work for me, right? I work for them, and that's something that I got from Gary B, which is one of the people that I listen to a lot, and it's true. I don't see it as like, yo, you have to work for me. It's like, no, 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 let me give you the tools so you could be better in your life, in your perspective, in your own life. How can I make you better, right? And that's how I approach everybody here at Diaza. It's like, come here, believe in me, believe in Diaza, that we're gonna make you better, right? In every
Mhm.
aspect of your life. If you can, wake up earlier, if you could be better at looking better, like fitness, or all this kind of stuff mentally. Like, how can you be better? How can you read more books? How can you be smarter? How can you, have more confidence in yourself? I think I'm a very confident guy of myself. Like, I think that's one of my best qualities, that I'm very confident. Whatever I do it with, like, thinking that I'm the best at it. Even if people think I'm not. That's why I always call I'm the best guy in and I was the best guy in my team, because I consider myself the best. If somebody thought I wasn't the best, well, that's their thinking. That's not my thinking. I'm always the best at what I do. Get me? So I want my people to feel the same. I want them to come here and like believe in themselves, and think that they're gonna be the best at what they do. So that, to me, at the beginning, it was pretty hard to manage it, right? Like, how do I make them become better, right?
Mhm.
Because I want me to be better, only me, right? I only want Diego to be better, Diaza to be better, and I wasn't really thinking about them. So I had to shift and understand that in order for all of us to be better, they also need to be better. And the work environment is very important for that, right? How do you maintain a positive work environment, right? Like, now it's personal issues, right? Yeah. Do you have personal issues? Like, how do we deal with that? How do we deal with that together? How can I help you? If you have all the stuff that is going on in your life, how do we, can approach you, and you have our support, my support, my personal support. So I started building that, and I get, closer relationship with everybody that works at Diaza, but also, in order for me to help them, they need to help themselves as well. It's very tough sometimes, because sometimes I don't think they see the potential that they have, and they probably don't believe in themselves enough, and they probably get down or something like that. And you gotta be there, you gotta be there, but they also need to be there for themselves. They need to believe in themselves. They need to really think, okay, I can make this happen. And that's with everybody, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
if you want to help somebody but they don't want to help themselves, like how can you keep helping, you know? So that's how I always try to stay positive in at work, you know. How do we make ourselves better, and then the company will be benefit from that, you know. Other thing that happened to me is that I was very close to them as a friend, you know, and now transitioning to a position where I have to make decisions where sometimes you can't even think friendship, right? You have to think business wise, you know, and that's very difficult because some of your friends will not understand, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Some of your friends that work with you will think, oh, this guy doesn't like me anymore, or it's not the same as before. And yeah, they're right. It's not the same as before because we all have grown. You know, the company keeps growing and you got to keep growing yourself as well. So if I'm already here, I want you to be here with me, you know. But if you're here, then it's not gonna be my fault, right? It's
Gotcha.
ultimately to you to improve it and be better every day. So sometimes it gets tricky, sometimes it gets hard, but I think right now we have a very, you know, positive environment. Everybody understands what the Diaza mentality is, what we want to apply in the business and out there. So that's how I always try to stay positive and bring that to the company, you know.
Okay. I see we're almost getting close to the end here. So I want to touch on this. I was on the website and I'm like, yo, he has all these teams here. You have all these youth academies, the college up there. And I'm like, okay, got the teams in the USL. And then I went down and said leagues. And I said, what is MLQ? I'm like, that looked like Quidditch from Harry Potter. I click on it, it said Major League Quad Ball. I said, what is this? How did that come about?
No, man, that's I like them. I love them. You know, it's a whole league. So check me out. I don't know. Is I mean, the guys were looking for an apparel company, somebody, right? And they were like, listen, we're a serious organization. We wanna, you know, partner up with a company that is serious about this. You know, you got to make a proposal. It was a bet. You got to make a bet. You know, they have a lot of conditions, and I was like, what is this? You know, like who are they? Like, what is this? Is this just like a simple game? So like, not to offend them, you know, obviously, because now I love them, you know, and it's like because now I understand their culture, the world, the sport, you know, there's
Yeah.
a real sport. And then I'm like, so I started we going through and all these things, and when you look at it, it's a whole league of Quidditch, you know, and they have the stick and they throw
Yeah.
the ball and you know everything, and it's real. And I'm like, and we're like, what, you know, like is this even real? And they have a bunch of teams in different states, and it's like national teams, and it's in Europe as well. And there's colleges that give you scholarship for that. It's a whole thing. It's a whole sport, and we didn't. I mean, we don't know about that, right? But
Nope.
how can you think? How can you think is even real? So it is real, man. And to give them props, they're very organized. You know, they're like boom, boom, boom. They run like a professional league. To us, it's crazy because, like I say, it had to be a bid. You know, everything was very straightforward. You got to give proof of who you were, how you work. You know, your timeline, this, that. They're very, very organized. They have designers in house. They do their own kids. You know, like it's a whole league that we partnered up with. You know, they have like 12 teams, 15 teams, and I'm like, wow, you know, it's all Diaza, everything is Diaza. So that was a very good partnership that we did with them. We're still with them. We have a contract for 3 years. But I love them, man. You know, they're very passionate about it too. You know, we build a whole store for them
Mhm.
on our website. And these guys buy like crazy. They go, you know, they're passionate for the team. They go buy everything. And the good thing about us is that we build a different collection that they never had before. You know, they never had windrunners. They never had hoodies. They never had this. They never had that. So now that they have it, they loving it as well. You know, so shout out to them because I love them and I think and they have a community. They have built a community, you know, for themselves, and it's a really strong community. They support each other. They love the league. They love the team. So they have built something special, and we're very glad to be part of that.
Man, I saw that. I sent it to my wife. I was like, look at this. Like she's a big Harry Potter fan. And I was just
I mean,
like, yo, I'm subscribing. I had a YouTube channel. I got the bell notification set already. I was like, this is crazy right here. Okay,
yeah,
so
man, yeah, yeah.
the next thing I noticed on the website was right there. You had a kit made for Ronaldinho and I believe he's a reggaeton artist named Blessed.
Bless, yeah,
Yeah.
blessed.
How did that come about? Because that right there, I'm like, I'm on LinkedIn and I saw it on LinkedIn. I was just like, wait, what happened? Saw the video highlights. I was like, oh man, these guys are moving right now.
Yeah, man, yeah. It's I think that was the move of I would call it the move of the year. We'll see what happens, for the whole year, but I think that was a very big move for us. The opportunity came because networking. I like I say, I never make it to MLS, but the relationships I built in that grind, in that in that going here, going there, city to city. I met so many people. I met with people that I haven't even spoke to about Diaza, but I know if I call them, I'm gonna get in business with them. So, and we talk about like now, because I met them when they were nobody as well, right? So now they've been positioned in the market in a high position. MLS coaches, directors, youth academies owners. Like I have the whole people, the whole connection with everybody. So that's what happened. It happens that I play with a Brazilian guy that he play everywhere. He play in Germany. He play in Brazil. He played here. He played there. He was like a top player. And somehow I played with him in a team in Miami, like the professional teams that they wanted to build. And this guy was his name is Rodrigo, and this guy was best friends with Ronaldinho since they were like 10 years old. They grew up together. They went through the academy together. They debuted, the first professional game together, everything together. And obviously Ronaldinho took off and he was still a pro, but in different levels, but always first division. He was a champion in the Bundesliga, first division in
Yup.
Germany. So he was a baller too. So 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 what happened? I played with him and then I stay in contact with one of his friends as well, like a circle,
Okay.
and they always knew about Diaza and they always joke about it. Oh, someday we're gonna put Ronaldinho and Diaza. It was a joke, always. It was a joke. It was a joke, and we're like, yeah, Nike, whatever. But then the opportunity came in. Then out of nowhere, hey, Diego, we see you making moves. Can you make a proposal for us? We have an event in 20 days. 20 days. We have no partners. We're looking for the other. We have now Nike in the table and Puma. Would you like to make a proposal? Can you make it happen? Man, I was like, what? Let me just put it. So I started building everything. I started making the designs, making like a real nice presentation. That's what we do, graphic line. Everything comes through the eye. So everything that we do is very graphic, very artistic, very nice. So we did these presentations, everything, boom, boom, boom. We explain everything, blah, blah. They love him and like we want to go with you guys. Obviously there was a money involved, and then we have to pay, for whatever to get the contract,
Hmm.
and then we did, and it was a big investment for us, but I think it's been worth it. It's been very worth it, so having Ronaldinho there, bless. It was not just Ronaldinho. It was a bunch more like players from South America mostly, but everybody in South America knew who they were. And now Diaza in South America is a huge brand. It's bigger than in the US. So we have deals in South America that we cannot make yet, because they're huge deals. So we got to go step by step. But also in America, it's been. I mean, we are an American brand. We're not. I don't see our brand as a Colombian or Latino brand or none of that stuff. I see him as an American. I believe in the American dream. I think I always fight for it. I always tell everybody that it is real and you can make anything happen in this country. So so having the brand here and being American is a bless for me, and that's how I drive things. Right? I don't see colors. I don't see, oh, you're from this country or here or that. No, I think we're all equal. We're all humans, and we can be part of something great. So being there with Ronaldinho and Bless, he's a huge guy in Colombia. He's huge, man. He's the artist of Colombia right now. Bless, you know. So you know, having them wearing the event was crazy. It was extremely good. They put up this, you know, like it was like I don't know how many people. It was a small like field, you know, because it was futsal 5v5.
Yeah.
But the venue was totally sold out. You know, the artists came, they had a good time. Ronaldinho was playing, man, like crazy. He was enjoying it. He was loving Diaza. I say hi to him. He's like, yo, I like this brand, you know, this and that. So, you know, somebody like Ronaldinho telling you that is like, wow, like it's been worth it. You know, all the sacrifices, all the work is been worth it. So it was a really cool moment, man. It happened because of networking, you know, me knowing somebody and now being ready for the opportunity, you know, because like I always say, it's better to be ready and not have an opportunity than not be ready and have an opportunity, you know. So you got to be ready always. You got to stay ready. You got to be alert for whatever comes your way and believe in yourself. You know, I could, like I say, it was a big investment for us, and if I didn't believe, I couldn't make it happen because people just don't believe. And it was only 20 days. I had to make uniforms. I had to do this. I have to put the plan, designs. Bro, it was we stayed like 3 days until like 3 in the morning doing this deal, you know, like going at it, being there, sending back and forward approvals, sponsors. It was tough 5 days, you know, but then it paid off, you know.
I believe it, man. I believe it.
Yeah,
Okay.
man, it was cool.
Well, come up on 10 o'clock here. And as always, I want to be respectful of my guest time. So I'd like to take this opportunity to say, is there anything going forward with the company that you want to promote? Any events you have coming up you want, the listeners to be on the lookout for?
Definitely, man. No, we might have, you know, one or two more events with Ronaldinho. I think that's gonna be
Okay.
in that's being worked out right now. You know, we created a relationship, so you know, if the right event comes, is gonna be the right one for us. We're gonna be there. There's many tournaments coming up. You know, we have big plans to bring a team. We're in talks with one big team from the TST tournament. You know, this big tournament that is in North Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
$1 million. We for the first time in Diaza, we're looking for more opportunities for players, right? We like I say, I think I didn't have enough, or I didn't build enough. I didn't have enough opportunities at the time, so I want to be that guy to help as much players as I can. You know, at least for one opportunity. For if I put the opportunity, then it's up to the player if they make it or not, right?
Gotcha.
So we're building these programs to have combines to do events in New York, Miami. You know, we're signing a lot of teams. We're already double in teams from last year. So within this year, it's already been huge for us. So no, man, it's just, you know, stay there, stay tuned because we're always announcing new teams, you know, new programs that we're gonna build,
Mm-hmm.
and we would love for people to be part of it. You know.
Okay. Okay. I just want to give praise for people that don't know. I see you going over into the world of boxing there. So that little
Oh
expansion.
yeah, 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 yeah.
I said,
So
oh, boxing. Got the Muay Thai shorts. Hold up now. About to have ONE FC as a contract for you in the future, man.
yeah, man, yeah, no, yeah. It's another brand that we because through Diaza, I found myself as branding guy, right? I found myself, and I have built a team where we're very focused on branding. Like I think I can scale brands. Like that's what I believe, you know. I think I can take any brand to a next level. Like I truly do, you know. So this opportunity of the boxing brand came to me, and they want to do Diasa boxing, but I didn't think it was the right fit because I want Diasa to be, you know, a sport of like soccer. Actually, we're gonna still, you know, like we're gonna do basketball, tennis, you know, like we already done some, and we do a lot actually, but we don't really promote it because I want to build the right teams for each sport, you know.
Gotcha.
So until that happens, I'm gonna just keep it like the marketing for soccer. But boxing to me is a different kind of sport. It's like it's not a ball, you know. It's not like this. It's not that. So I'm like, no, I want to create a different line of boxing if the opportunity is there, I just want to create a different line, and that's what we did. We created a different brand for it, and now it's just in the very early stages. We out there are already selling and everywhere, but it's in the early stages. But we wanna take that brand just as Diaza or any other brand that we do business with. We just want to keep escalating it.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, I've been and to finish, I've been contacted by teams, USL teams. I'm talking about professional teams and these about branding, right? Like, how do you do this, Diego? How can you help us? I've been getting offers of other kind of jobs around to go build their brands, and I'm not gonna lie, it's very tempting to take these deals, right? But I'm focused on Diaza, I'm focused on Diaza. I think that's my life. That's what I'm built for. If I can help anybody, I will, but we have helped a lot of clubs. We come here, we come with ideas in the table. Every club that we sign, it's not just about the uniform. It's about branding, right? It's about giving them a new image in and off the field, to their players, to their staff, social media, giving them like tips, like, hey, you should do a uniform release. You should do a kit reveal. You should do this. You should do that. Let's do this together. It's not just the clothing. The clothing is our main business, but what comes with it, right? What culture comes with it? What do you guys want to do in your brand, right? Like, how's your brand awareness? So we work a lot on that, and we have potential, a lot of teams in the market, and we're very glad to do that. Very happy to contribute a little bit, and so they're out there now doing big things.
Okay. Well, I want to say, Diego, it has been a pleasure having this conversation with you. And all the links to the websites, all LinkedIn, to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everything will be posted once the show's been done. Put it out there for everybody. So don't do yourself a disservice. Look into their brands. I'm telling you, you're going to enjoy it. These people are consistent online when it comes to promoting. So if you're looking for brands, maybe trying to get your business out there, hey, Diego put a video out recently saying this is the sport to be in. Soccer, I say every time, south of the equator is where it's at. South America, Africa, even Southeast Asia, that's where it's at for growth and business. So keep that in mind. But like I like to say, man, as always, Diego, it was a pleasure. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, enjoy yourself, enjoy the day, stay prosperous. Peace.
Thank you, man.
Thanks.